I'm so excited, Renee, to have you here with me to talk about your transformation story. So I'm just going to open with a question. So tell me your version of transformation and your story.
Wow. Well, Stacey, we've been in contact over many years and you've been talking about, what you've been doing and it finally clicked. It finally clicked to really do something about where I was. And when I started getting involved with Beachbody and, doing stuff on a more consistent basis of exercise, I mean, because I feel like I was a fit person before, but just not doing it consistently enough. But it transformed my life in more than just the physical. The biggest thing for me was the transformation of my mind. Um, Going through the program, there was so much positive, outward looking, and really just a mindset change that it gave me more energy of how I thought about things, more positive outlook on things. And as that was happening, I saw myself transforming to be more positive, and all of a sudden I started reaching out for more things in my life. Meaning I went for that job that was a little bit scary. I've always wanted to go for a manager job, and actually going through the program gave me the energy and the courage to step forward and do it. And I never would have thought this would come that would come from doing this program. And one of the things is just not every one of the programs that I got involved with, all of the instructors, and including you too, in your encouragement, have all been so positive of, how to go forward and not give up on yourself. And all of those, like some people might say, oh, those are clicky cliches. I took them to heart and ran with them, and now I'm in the job that I always wanted to be in, like 10 years ago. So I don't know what else more to say, but
Yeah,
I'm a shooter.
that's good. So I'm going to kind of walk people through the sequence. So we met, became friends. We had some common interests, being engineers, working for the same company, some of our service and even our church alignments. We kept in touch for many years. You and I were social media contacts as well as work colleagues, but in different groups. And one of my call outs, you said, okay, fine, tell me more. You're always talking about this. What is it? Tell me more. And then you aligned to what we call the total solution, which was the Beachbody On Demand subscription, the coaching groups that I lead, and Shakeology, and then the nutrition programs. Did you use 2B Mindset or Portion Fixed, or both?
So I went through both of them and took what I needed from both, and I kind of developed my own,
Right?
but used those for the foundation.
Foundation. Absolutely. And then you hit on something in your transformation answer. You talked about your mind changed. So you added exercise, dabbled with nutrition, leaned into the groups, and then transformation of your mind started happening. And people ask me all the time, what do you mean by mindset? I'm like, that's what I mean, but you can't describe it until you're doing it.
But I can a little bit. One of the
Okay.
things that happens is that when you haven't exercised in forever and you start, let's just be honest, it's a little hard at the start. I was so discouraged, I'm trying to do this balance. I'm thinking I'm okay, and I'm trying to do a balance and I'm falling on my face. And you just sometimes in that first week or two, or let me say month, just want to give up. But every time when I was in one of the programs, and right at my breaking point of I'm just going to walk away, one of the coaches got in my face and said, "Don't give up on you." Oh, oh my gosh. That's what I'm doing every time I stop a program, every time I stop short, every time I don't do that extra set of weight, I'm stopping short. And then what happened is we went from the physical stopping short in a workout, and putting that in my mind of like, don't give up on yourself, to every other thing that I tried working on and maybe stopped short of because I either got scared or it was hard or I failed at first. And so I had a few face plants trying to do some of the yoga. And I had, tripped and like rolled over on some of the other workouts, and a couple of them I even cried afterward. But what happened was it was cleansing, because I even heard that sometimes you can store pain up in your muscles, like old hurts. And as I was working out, those came up too. So I didn't expect some of the emotional stuff that came out.
Interesting.
But all in all, because people don't talk about that, but it happened. But all in all, it meant I was getting healthier and healthier. And as I got healthier, I was now open to the world of new possibilities, and taking a step into a new job where I'm not as comfortable and facing those same challenges. So I've had a few face plants in my job, of kind of having a big team meeting and it didn't go so well. But I go back to that, don't give up on yourself and go be great. These are just some of the lines, right? So it's the support group you need to go after what you want in life.
I love it. The support group you need to go after what you want in life. I love that. And so you know me personally. Not everyone who engages in my group knows me in real flesh and blood like you do. But can you touch on how your perception is of the value that I create as the coach?
Tremendous value. So first off, people might say, well, you guys know each other, but I live in California. You live in Arizona. We don't have a lot of time. We've had, I think, maybe 3 meetings, maybe 4 tops, face to face in, over a meal. So that's not a lot of time. But I could tell you, in that amount of time, you gave me things to think about where I was at, not where someone else was at. But you listened to my story, you listened to where I was, and you worked with me to figure out what's best for me, both with what I need physically, what I could do financially, what I could add into my life. And so you listen. So that's the first step, someone who listens. And then the next thing is, when I was discouraged, you kind of, not like an overzealous cheerleader, but a realistic cheerleader. You say, come on, get up, you can do it. And you celebrated my success with me. And you checked in on me when I wasn't very responsive at times. So sometimes you just need that extra push, and every time you were there. And not only that, but you continue to give insight into the whole life. It's not just about the Beachbody experience or the workout or the Shakeology, but it's about becoming a better person, becoming and achieving goals, and how to open your mind to what's the next step in your life, Renee? What do you need help with? So it's an all-inclusive kind of package. So I would recommend Stacy to anyone because she's tailored to fit you, because she listens.
Oh, I feel like a listener might be like, you guys curated that question, but we did not. I didn't know what you were going to say, and I'm trying not to get verklempt. That's such an honor to be on the journey with you, because I could say a lot of the same. Like when we reflect back on where we are, it helps me to become a better person and then take things into my own family. And we have different family like setups and structures, and it grows and it becomes so much bigger than us. So closing comments. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Can I add one more thing?
Absolutely.
This one is the heartfelt one. And all of it's heartfelt, but this one touches my heart even more. My mom, who is 84, lives with me, And we tried like 4 years ago to get to the gym, and it just fell apart, 20 minutes there, 20 minutes back, all that in between. And then like then COVID all hit, right? So with this program being at home, as I've been doing the program in the living room, I don't have a big house, so it's right in the living room. And my mom's been joining me. So my mom at 84 started to have trouble, walking and getting up and being afraid to do things because of the fear of if I end up on the floor, I'm not going to be able to get up. Well, my mom has been doing the intermediate programs with me as I've gone, and my mom has improved. She can't do everything and she can't do it perfectly, but doggone it, she tries. And today, she got up differently off the floor because she gets down on the floor and does the exercises too. And the other thing she did the other day is she jumped a jumping jack for the first time in years because she said she was afraid to jump because of what if she fell. And so I am touched because this is giving longevity to my mom, and that means I get to enjoy more things with my mom because we can go out and do more because of her joining me in the exercise program. So I can't say enough about what a gift that is to me to have more of my mom and a healthier time. And my mom turns around after we exercise and she goes, Renee, thank you, because I wouldn't be doing this if you weren't doing it. And so maybe there's someone out there that needs a little encouragement that way too. But my mom's 84 and she's doing, what did we just go through? The 4 weeks of the prep? And now we're doing 645, and my mom's with me in on it. So anyway.
I just asked earlier when you said something, it made me think about your mom, because I can remember you doing a program with her and that I didn't. I'm so glad you brought that up. Longevity and autonomy comes up for me a lot because as we age, right, we have bone density loss, we have mobility loss, and these programs are structured like 645. He talks about mobility and stability all the time, working on your core, just getting off the toilet, right? We have to do that when we're old and young. So I love that. Thanks for sharing that nugget. And then I just wanted to close out, like, any closing comments or how you would sort of wrap so we can close for listeners.
Well, I have to give one more statement here, and that is through the programs, I've exercised a lot, I've gone to the gym, I've had personal trainers, but the personal trainers through this program there's even a step above, because they tell you what you could possibly be doing wrong, or if you're doing it wrong, what the possible problem is, and how to do that step in between to work yourself up to doing it properly. And as mom and I are working out, she's like, oh my gosh, if I now I have to put a little more pressure on my front toe, and that makes all the difference in the world, but nobody ever told us that. Because you can't see where people are putting pressure sometimes in their body to make the movements right. And so the more we listen to the instructors, the more aligned we become and the easier the exercise became. So they're not only tips for the how to do it right, but they also give the mindset of how to think right, to be your best self. And then Stacy comes in behind and says, this is she's in front and behind, because she's saying, okay, this is what you can do, this is where you can get to, and is alongside to help. And then is at the back end going, yeah, come on, let's push a little bit more, you can do it, with some challenges that make it fun. So she makes it fun and personable, and I think that's it.
Oh, thank you so much for making time for this, Renee, and helping share the story, your story, which is very similar to my own. And now we want to invite others to join us on the journey and experience life change, bring that to their families, whether old or young, autonomy, longevity, health, being vibrant and abundant in our everyday life. Thanks so much, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks.